You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Team Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV Suits After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV Suits After Show.
Just get the shoulders going, ladies.
Yes.
Shake them.
Yes. Yes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Suits AFTERBUZZ TV After Show. It is season 3, episode 13, Heartburn. I just got the title, mind you. And my name is Tiona Hobson. I'll be your host tonight. And joining me tonight, I have my two lovely lady co-hosts who I will let introduce themselves.
I'm Stacy Ike.
And I'm Ashida Onrae.
Okay, I just want to dive straight into tonight's episode because it was the perfect mixture for me of emotional and funny. You know, we had the Lewis Litt stuff going on and then, you know, the other more serious things. So I want to jump right in with Lewis's story. Of course, we start off in one of Ashida's favorite positions.
Yes.
favorite time for Ashida. They're in the bedroom.
Yes.
Now, as that hand was traveling up that body in the sheets, who did you guys think was going to be underneath those covers?
Of course you think it's, Rachel and Mike. Hopefully you think it's Rachel and Mike, but it wasn't.
I was hoping maybe it was Harvey and Scotty that,
True.
they had some makeup sex or something the night before, but no. We're pleasantly surprised with Lewis and Sheila, who have to be one of the most creative couples on television.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to say creative couples
That's
because
a perfect word.
I don't know how else to describe those two.
Yes.
They're into some weird things.
I think that's perfect.
So they're creative. Well, clearly, Lewis, I didn't realize that Lewis, when he stays with Sheila, that he's in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I always just assumed that, she worked for Harvard, but she lived in New York.
Yeah.
And you know it's good when you get on the plane and you travel.
Well, the train.
The train. Sorry,
Yeah.
the train.
The
You
train
know
to
it's
travel.
good when you travel.
When you're traveling in general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically,
traveling in general.
Yeah.
So, Sheila's like, oh, you're going to miss your train. You have to go. He's like,
Yes.
oh, I'll take one an hour later. Ashida, would you like to quote him?
Oh, yes. Because I was quoting him right before we got on the air. But let me blow your mind for an hour. Love it.
That was pretty
Blow
perfect.
my mind.
Blow it.
Literally.
And, I mean,
Light it up.
yeah.
he blew something.
Yeah.
So, he
that's
finally,
sad.
he's then on his way to the courtroom later on because he also made a comment, this new Lewis Litt, he doesn't sweat before closing arguments, and he has a big closing argument in court today. So he's running late now because he decided to stay an extra hour, which, it's always when you hit snooze or like, oh, just one more hour, I'll be
Right,
fine,
yeah.
when everything goes wrong. He can't get a cab. He's trying to get to court. He's like, all right, I got to lit this up. He runs to court. And then he gets there, and he's giving this amazing closing argument, which, by the way, he was sweating during. And I just want to point out that I loved how they, made sure he said he doesn't sweat anymore, and then he shows into the courtroom sweating. I see what you're doing there. And he's giving this really, inspirational closing argument, and then all of a sudden it's like down goes Frazier.
Right.
And he's clutching at his heart, and the judge's like, you okay? Call an ambulance. And we find out that Lewis is in the hospital now because he had a heart attack, which is a very serious thing, especially for someone as young as Lewis. I know that being a lawyer is very stressful, and he has a lot going on, and he does, harp on a lot of things.
Yes,
so
Freak out. Yeah.
he freaks out. He has
Yes.
his Lewis moments
Yes.
a lot. So clearly a lot of that, and maybe some extracurriculars that he's been
Talking about the bed.
yeah, maybe it's some of those
Talking about the bed.
extracurriculars
Yes.
that got his heart rate going even more.
That's so terrible.
But that's good stuff. That's not stressful.
Still working that hard a little extra.
Maybe stress on the knees, but that's okay.
Oh,
It's
no.
not
Oh, God. It's Lewis, you guys. Stop.
Everyone needs love. So, of course, news starts spreading through the office. What's her name? Jessica comes in, tells Harvey, Mike, and Donna. Donna immediately is like, I have to go. Jessica's like, no, he told Norma. I love how Norma always gets her mentions, but we never see Norma.
We don't know who she looks like.
I'm like, does
kinda
Norma
ridiculous.
work in the office or does she work from home?
From home? Exactly.
I'm starting to think that Norma works from home because we never see her,
Right.
and we see everybody at this place. So Donna immediately goes over to the hospital to see him. Harvey, the jerk that he is, reveals that because Jessica wants to send Louis flowers, and he's like, "Oh no, don't! He's allergic." And Jessica's and Mike are very confused. How do you know this? Oh, I used to send him to him every day when we were associates.
That was like supposed to be a sweet moment, but then he like turned into this really. I was like, Harvey, we can't trust you.
Which is what the beauty of this show is that they took something so serious like Louis having a heart attack.
Right.
And still let Harvey be Harvey.
Yeah.
Because in any moment, Harvey would have still made the same jokes. He would still do the same things. So I'm glad that they didn't turn Harvey into a soft pile of mush that is all of a sudden someone who we've never seen before.
Right.
So I thought they handled the situation very well. So Donna goes over to see Louis in the hospital. He wakes up and says, "Is this heaven?" And it was in that moment where I really started feeling for Louis because he really feels like the people in the office, they mean a lot to him and they treat him like crap most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, but I think in this moment is when you really see that him and Donna do have that common ground and they have that mutual respect for each other and everything that's going on. But Donna does tell him that he needs to cut back, and we see Louis break down and cry, and it's like, okay, you're right, I will cut back a little bit, you know, with the associates stressing me out and just all that stuff. And then enters Sheila, who is mad at him because she walks in and it looks like he's working. I thought he was working too.
Right.
Did you guys think he was?
I mean, I did.
working?
He had his, his paper and his pen and his serious face. So you kind of put two and two together, and you're like, yeah.
I didn't think he was working. I thought he was doing something else.
Did you think he was doodling?
I was like,
Did I
what?
say doodling?
No.
Doing. I thought.
No, I said doodling. Like, what
like,
did
did I
you
say
think he was doing?
I thought either he was writing a letter to his coworkers or it was something personal. It was not work related. I didn't think it was work related at all.
Okay.
I didn't think he was
Well,
working.
she got it then.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see any books. I didn't see it. Just didn't look like a lawyer's set or something going on. So I knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out he was writing down some different words to propose to Sheila. Different, couples throughout history, Romeo and Juliet. He mentioned the Lannisters from Game of Thrones, so I have to give a shout out because the girl who played Ava in the first part of the season was a Lannister. Or no, she wasn't a Lannister. I'm sorry, Game of Thrones fans do not start attacking me right now. But she is from the Game of Thrones family, so and they made a reference to it, so I thought that was a nice nod to Ava, who we got to know and sometimes love in the first half of the season. So then, he proposes to Sheila, and of course, no serious moment can happen without cutting to him being on his knees and that flap in his hospital gown being open, and there's Lewis's booty just out to play.
Being on your
That
knees is
was
not
funny.
always bad.
Oh, wow. See, and you can't trust this one. She will
It's
just,
not always
my
bad. I'm
gosh.
trying to tell you guys.
wow. I hope y'all got that.
I mean, in this case.
Right.
In this case. I love that because it's such a Lewis moment to be,
Yes.
fully exposed in the rear, in the derriere, as they used to say,
Right.
while he's proposing to her, also without a ring. I love it when people propose without rings, especially on TV, because it usually means that it's not going to work out.
Oh.
Did you really feel that?
Yeah.
Even though you did? Oh, okay.
I didn't expect
Most,
it.
I feel like most TV proposals that you see when it's spur of the moment and there's no ring involved, the wedding never happens. So
That's interesting.
That's a good little tidbit.
Yeah, I'm like,
mean,
now we're
so-
going to look for that.
yeah, keep your eyes out, kiddos, because
That's sad, though.
I
don't
watch a
wanna
lot
really
of
look for that,
television, so
though.
I know some things.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I want to look for that. It's kind of sad, but okay.
I'm not saying that all the ones with the rings work out either,
Right,
but
right.
the ones without a ring never work.
Never worked.
Because
Okay.
usually too spur of the moment. But Lewis does ask Harvey the next day to be his best man And Harvey quickly accepts and, you know, doesn't really give Lewis too much of a hard time about that one, which I appreciated that for Harvey to kind of let him off the hook easy on that. But then we have the big issue, which is why this wedding is not going to happen now. Sheila and Lewis, they've never really talked about where they would live when they settle down. She lives in Boston. He lives in New York. She's, you know, Harvard. He's Pearson Spector. Neither one thought this through, and so both of them thought the other one would be moving to their city. So how do you decide who should move in these situations?
Compromise.
What is the
what I was
compromise,
thinking.
though?
Well, the
You move into a
compromise
house in
is.
Connecticut.
Well, the compromise. Would you say?
You move into a house in Connecticut? I don't know.
Well, the compromise is, are you, you know, who can find a job? And that was, okay, well, I can find a job in, you know, in where are they? Boston. Sorry.
Boston and New York.
But normally, you know, the woman leaves and goes with the guy because the guy's making more money and is able to, you know, provide a home for you. And, you know, you're able to pick up quicker and to just kind of move on faster than a guy is able to.
Okay.
So, you know, he's already partner, it's already established. She is established as well. But the compromise is, I think, honestly, is with your emotion. Like, you know what? Okay, I can do this. I can, to make the relationship work. Because if nobody compromises, it's not going to go anywhere.
So can I ask, like, what would you have done what Sheila did? Like, I mean,
I would move. I mean, if I loved him, if I'm dating someone and he lives in a different state, then yeah, I would totally do it.
A choice between Boston and New York. I'm choosing New York all day.
yeah,
every day.
she was like
All
Harvard. I'm like,
day.
baby, you don't go there anymore, though. It's over.
I mean,
it's
it's
okay.
where her
Yeah.
job is, but here's my thing. Boston and New York, people can make that commute on a daily basis on that train, and I know that it's harder, but it's also, it's like a 2-hour train ride or something. People in LA, that's a commute to work.
Exactly, like in
You
the
know,
same city.
Right.
In the same city.
Yeah.
So if first of all you don't have to drive it, you can get on a train and someone else drives, so you
Right.
can take a nap during your 4-hour
Right.
commute round trip. I think that's a win-win.
But would you do a
either way.
4-hour commute like in a marriage, though? I mean, that's like.
No, I'm moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That's
I'm
a
moving with my
lot.
man. I'm sorry.
That's
Well,
a
see,
lot.
like, I have a thing. My dad, I lived outside of LA. It was a 2-hour commute for him every day to get into downtown LA. He did that commute every day to come
For
back.
who?
My dad.
Your dad?
Growing up, 4-hour round trip commute every day. Sometimes he
Wow.
took the train, sometimes he drove in. So I've seen this work, and I've seen that it's not that hard to do.
But why do it if it's not
I mean,
necessary?
if you don't have to do
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
who
don't do
wants
it.
to
Right,
do it?
right.
But at this stage, I just felt like Boston and New York, everyone always talk, like there's a lot of people who make that commute
Yeah.
every single day to their jobs and stuff. So I just felt like maybe it could have worked out.
Yeah.
It
I'm
seemed like a
moving.
cop-out to
I
that. If that had been the only reason why they weren't
Exactly.
going to get married and it
Exactly.
wasn't going to work out, then I was like, that's kind of a cop-out.
Right.
The
right.
real reason that they
is,
didn't
is the sadder
is the sadder of the two,
it's just,
which is that Sheila then reveals after she's decided, okay, Lewis gives this heartfelt speech about how Mike, Donna, Jessica, Harvey, they're all his family
Yeah.
and don't make him leave his family. Then she drops the bomb, well, I don't want to have kids.
That
I
was-
don't like that. That's not in my future. And you just see Lewis's heart just crumbling at this moment. Ashida's looking at me.
I was like, can I get what's the face?
No, I'm listening. I'm
Okay,
just
because I'm like, she
but
has
the
something to
face is
say. I
kidding.
Oh, am
didn't-
I saying something with my face?
Yes.
Oh,
it's very like.
You're giving me a lot of face.
Yeah.
And
am I
I'm
giving
like,
you?
I don't know how to take it. I don't know if it's good face or bad
I
face.
Oh,
can't
it's
tell.
totally good face.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Well, you know, guys, I love my co-host.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, what did you guys think about the bomb of Sheila? Well, not only Sheila not wanting to have kids, but even her kind of plea, I was willing to give up Harvard
Yeah.
for you, and
Yeah.
you can't make one compromise for me.
I feel like they're not the same compromise, and I would love to hear what you have to say.
I agree with
They
that.
can't be.
I agree
Kids
with
is
that.
life, and that we can move back. We can move Boston in 2 years.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean,
You could get
that's
fired from Harvard in 2 years
You
and have to get a new job anyway.
You know, the same. He might not like the same law firm, so that was really hard for me because I'm like, Sheila, I think you're playing a different field here. But I think the problem was that they haven't discussed much. I mean, yes, we know Lewis dropped the ball and in a beautiful way, and he gave this beautiful speech, and now they're engaged. But they didn't have any serious talks, and this was just evidence that they've never had any serious talks. And I was kind of like, You guys are, I don't.
Their relationship was founded on sex, and it's been mostly
Exactly.
sex the whole time.
At least that's all we've seen.
Yeah, that's all we've seen.
So I don't, I mean.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I say don't have the kids and keep the sex.
Okay, that's not what I said.
I just
no,
say-
that's not the same thing.
She said, what do we think? That's my thing.
I'm like,
That's my thought.
I don't know.
I just think, hey, accidents happen all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what do you
what's
think
the harm
about?
if you keep having some fun?
Yeah.
And oops.
Because he said
Well,
that,
you
like,
can't do that.
I
You
think
can't
he'll change
plan
your
that.
mind. Yeah.
That's not fair.
I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm
Let's
just
have an
saying, like,
accident.
you know, down the line they're married and they're happy, and then one day Sheila wakes up and
Right.
it's like, oh my God, I'm pregnant.
Right.
What are you?
But
you know,
what was
are you
hard
gonna
is
do?
that Lewis said, like, she might change her mind. Do you think that's, like, a thing, too?
No.
Like, you don't think that's a thing?
I think because I think and this is speaking from personal experience, like I don't want children and I don't want them.
I'm like,
It's like I just don't care. I don't want
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
And when you really don't want children and someone and you go, well, okay, you know what? I'm going to try to do this for him. You resent, and then you start having, you have these certain feelings like, okay, I'm doing this for him. And then if it doesn't work out,
Oh, that's.
it's real bad.
Yeah.
And
It's all bad. And then all that responsibility is on you. Then you have to worry about childcare. I mean, it just becomes a whole nother issue. So if you really don't want children, the best thing you can do is just to be honest up front and really be adamant about it, and don't allow someone to persuade you and find someone else who doesn't want children.
I completely agree.
That's
with
why I
that
say the sex and
yeah,
And
because
the
I mean,
relationship.
if you think
And
about
travel
it,
the world.
you know, if a child was brought into the world by a mother, especially who did not want to had said child, that mother, I'm not saying that Sheila would be that way or that anyone specifically is that way, but there's that chance that the mother is not going to put in the effort
Yeah.
with the child, you know, and the child will grow up knowing that it wasn't wanted,
That
that,
would
you
be
know,
terrible.
and that's just not a good
Yeah,
life, you
yeah.
know, it's just a horrible way for a kid to feel
Yeah.
growing
Yeah,
up. So
absolutely.
I agree. If you don't want kids, stand by your ground and don't let anyone sway you, because there's definitely someone out there with your same feelings, and
Absolutely.
you never know. Your life might change. You might have different feelings about things. Speaking of feelings, go express yourself and find us on iTunes.
That was great. That was good.
I was impressed.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that was seamless. Seamless.
Make sure you check out iTunes. Go on, find our after show Suits, AfterBuzz TV After Show. Rate us, comment there, give us 5 stars because we're awesome and we're pretty. And make sure you let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like, what we might have missed in the episode that you wanted us to talk about more, and we'll definitely address that. You can also find us on YouTube, where you can comment and like us on there, and you can subscribe to the podcast so that you don't even have to find it. You can just wake up on Friday morning and it's right there in your email. So make sure you comment on all of those as well, and we like to, interact with our fans and write back on theories and whatnot on YouTube. So make sure you do both of those things for me. Thanks.
Love it.
The smooch was a
I
perfect
love
seal.
it.
She said, all righty.
So
I got it out.
Let's talk about Mike. Mike, last week, Jessica sits him down and is like, and he has an eye-opening conversation where, he's kind of stuck. He can't really get too good, and he can't be promoted too high because that will draw attention to the fact that he's not a real lawyer. But he also doesn't want to stay an associate and, not get credit for his work for the rest of his life either. So this week, we have Tony Giannopoulos, that jerk who is always in and causing problems.
Yeah.
He wants to crush William Beck, who is this guy who works for his company, and he wants to leave, and he has this non-compete clause, but Giannopoulos wants to make it so that, he just can't work in this industry ever again. He's like, he can go work at Starbucks, but he can't work in our
In this
industry,
market, yeah.
in this market ever. Mike has a great idea in a way to make everyone happy, which is there's this other company that Giannopoulos owns, just break it off and give it to him to run. Giannopoulos does not want that and kind of puts Mike in his place in this meeting. And it's the first time Harvey doesn't really come up and support Mike in a major way. We've seen these meetings where the client might not agree and Harvey will be like, well, no, actually what my junior associate over here is saying is the right choice and you need to listen to him. This time Harvey just kind of said, I mean, he's not it's not a bad point.
Yeah.
It's something you can look into doing. And he's just like, no. So what did you guys think of Harvey's initial reaction of not really coming to bat for Mike? Should he have done more?
We both take a breath.
You know,
I know, deep sighs over here.
Because Harvey and Mike, they just have such an awesome relationship. So when Harvey doesn't speak up the way that we expect, we're confused. We want to know, like, what just happened, what did we miss, and that kind of thing. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, what did I miss? Did he do something that, you know, on the slide that we're about to find out about? So I don't know. I was expecting to see more, and I was expecting Mike to do what he did. Harvey, what was that? Why didn't you speak up for me? So, you know.
Yeah,
I agree. But Harvey did speak up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he didn't go for bat like he normally does, like you
Right.
said, Tiona. But I think he did speak up.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit.
Because at least he was like, hey, like, pay attention.
But we
then-
get why he didn't, because it had to
Yeah.
go more into the
Right,
story.
right.
Yeah,
So,
you know, and he raises a good point. You know, Giannopoulos is one of their biggest clients. He didn't want to do anything to, you know, jeopardize that. Tony Giannopoulos is a man who knows what he wants, and he gets what he wants. So if he's made his decision about something, he's going to stick by that. So later on, Tony's associate, who was with him in the meeting, his number 2, Jonathan, comes by to see Lewis, who Jessica has put up a strict policy. No clients need to know that Lewis had a heart attack because it's definitely a sign of weakness. People might get scared. And that we're not supposed to lose any of his clients while he's not available, I'll say. So when Jonathan comes in looking for Lewis, because Lewis is his personal attorney, he wants to leave Tony Giannopoulos' company as well, but he wants to get out of his non-compete. He wants to figure out a way to go to this other company and still be able to use all his stuff without worrying about that. He kind of low-key threatens to leave, but I don't know if that's just how you leave a law firm. If you just
Yeah.
say, well, if you're not going to help me
I'm
figure out
out.
a way, then tell Lewis not to call me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
That's-
pretty sure there has to be some paperwork filed.
I'm like, you're just
and-
going to fire him like that? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was like,
he's not
Lewis
even
is-
here.
Yeah, I was like, he's not even here. For all you know,
Yeah.
he's out of town right now.
Exactly.
Lawyers need vacations too.
Exactly. Exactly.
But so Mike gives him a heads up that the Michigan Court of Appeals recently ruled that there's a weak link in the non-compete, so that's how he could kind of scapegoat around it. Of course, Tony then finds out about this, tells Harvey, he's like, I don't know, it was Lewis. Harvey's like, it wasn't Lewis. He's not even at work today. He's like, it was someone over there because he left and he came back and all of a sudden he had this loophole. He found a loophole to get out of it. So I know he talked to someone. Of course Harvey knows who he talked to because you have, you know, Mike over here who's like Robin Hood, just always trying to give to the...
And he knows so much.
Yeah, and he
like,
knows
why did
everything.
you know that precedent? Like, why?
He probably read it in a book one time.
Exactly, when he was 6.
Yeah, when he was
Right.
6. A little light reading for the 6-year-old,
Right.
you know? And then Harvey confronts Mike yet again in the bathroom. We talked about this like a couple weeks ago.
But can we backtrack a little bit?
Oh, okay.
I love how Harvey checked him, though. Remember
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
like, you come and you're whining like a little 4-year-old? I did like that.
He was like, that temper tantrum.
Yes,
Let's
doesn't
not.
work with
It
me.
works with
Yeah.
other lawyers,
Yeah.
but not with
No,
Harvey.
yes.
Gosh,
That's very
Harvey's so
sexy.
good.
Sexy.
And we're back.
Yeah.
So Harvey and Mike are in the bathroom now because that's where
Everything gets
everything
shot.
happens in the bathroom. Everything.
See, I was
There's not a
quiet on that because
single-
I had a lead in on that one, but I was quiet.
I appreciate it, and I feel like I think we might need to hear it anyway. Just open the door. I mean, come on.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Everything happens in the bathroom. Go ahead.
Well,
She didn't hide that.
Harvey wants to know if Mike helping Jonathan has anything to do with his talk with Jessica. Is it because you feel the same way, because you're trapped? You know, what is going on? What's the real reason why you did this? Don't stand behind Jessica's stupid rule about not losing one of Lewis's clients, because honestly, in the grand scale of things, losing Jonathan for Lewis wasn't probably going to be that huge of a loss for the firm. So
Right, yeah.
clearly there's something deeper going on here. And so Mike still stands by, nope, it's just, you know, that. So Harvey's like, all right, well, you figured out how to, you know, do this. Now you have to figure out how to enforce the non-compete. So go do your lawyer thing because you're a good lawyer. Maybe this time you'll actually work in our
Work for
favor,
us.
work for
Right,
us.
yeah.
Yes.
Which is a good point because Mike does do a lot of things that
If you're like Mike,
Yeah,
you don't
it's really
work
great
for-
lawyering,
Yeah.
but it's not for the right
Yeah.
side.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, because Mike fights for the underdog. So
he does.
That's what I love about him.
And
but-
that's why I say he's like a Robin Hood type of character
Yeah.
because he's always there for the little man trying to help them out because of, his past with his parents and all that stuff. He feels like he has, like, the little man needs a voice and he's going to be the voice for them. So he figures out a way to enforce it. He goes to some guy named Kovac who I guess Jonathan was going to go work for him. But whatever algorithm Jonathan created.
It got real lawyery.
It got
around
real
that
lawyery
area
real quick.
I was like,
Because now they're talking in like investor banker terms and stuff. So he created this algorithm, and while he created it for over the past 10 years, but it was when he was working for Giannopoulos company. So according to his contract, everything he creates while working there belongs to that company. So if Kovac can go ahead and hire him, but he can't take or use the algorithm, or else, Pearson Spector will sue the crap out of everyone involved. So basically, he undoes everything he did by figuring out a way to enforce this non-compete. And Jonathan just comes to him and is like, dude, you gave me the silver lining and then told the soldiers that I was going to be there. Like, what's up with that? So Mike has to tell him, I gave you that advice off the record, but on the record, I have to be a lawyer and I have to do what's best for my firm. And so then Jonathan also tells him, oh, well, like in 10 years, I'll still be at the same desk. I'm stuck. I can't move up. I can't move down. I'm trapped at this job and I can't really take any more of it. But now you've left me with no choice. Mm-hmm. I really felt bad for the guy because being at a dead-end job, even if it's paying well, because
it's paying well.
It's paying well.
Yeah.
You just, hate the douchebag that you work for,
right?
Basically.
I had a question. So the non-compete that like Mike helped him with, is that now just like a moot point just because he has now enforced it? Like we can't decide like no enforcement, let's do the
Well, no, he
other
can
side?
still leave and go anywhere he wants, but what he was telling Mike is without his algorithm, he is worthless in the industry to any other company. Because what he comes with is a way that has set Tony Giannopoulos' company apart from the rest, is that he has this vital key code to unlock all the secrets.
Yeah.
And so if he can't take that with him to the next place, it's a waste of time because he's going to have to spend another 10 years. So he can't
play both fields, basically.
Yeah.
Like he can't. Dang.
Can't win for nothing here. And that's when it finally clicks for Mike. Hey, you know what? This is actually about me right now.
Right.
And the issues I'm having with realizing that I can't actually do anything great for this law firm.
Yeah.
So he goes to Harvey, and tells him that he wants to go legit. And how can we make it possible?
I literally wrote down "go legit" convo because I was like, "This is so serious."
Yeah, it's something that we've all been talking about, and I know a lot of fans online have been saying the same thing too. Why doesn't Mike just become a lawyer? Why doesn't he just become a lawyer? And the problem with this is what Harvey explains to him. Anywhere he goes in a major city, if he goes to law school, if he registers for law school now, people look up and see, wait a minute, you didn't graduate until 2016, but you were practicing law in 2011. How does that add up? It calls into question every little thing down the line. So the only way possible for Mike to do this is to go to some small town. Harvey said in Iowa, I'm sure Missouri, Kansas,
Missouri's
Arkansas.
Not that small.
I'm just saying there's a lot of small towns.
It's not the major cities.
You're
like
right. You're right. It's not Chicago. Or,
he just has to go to one of those small places. I'm sure he could go to Modesto, California, in a bigger state, just small town. Smaller town. And he could practice law there. No one would ask questions, but he would never be able to go to LA, Chicago, New York, San Francisco,
or even
Boston,
take a big case,
or even take a huge case that would get in the spotlight, like that.
So basically, he said it was like for nothing.
Yeah, but this is something that I thought was interesting that Harvey said. He said, "You're in the big. I can't tell you how to do it because I don't know if working on the biggest cases and not getting credit for it will ever be enough for you in life. But you're in the big leagues right now, so." you have to decide if you're going to step into play. Or he said something about being in the big leagues and not going back to the minor leagues, which is funny because later on, Mike is talking to Jonathan after, he tells Jonathan, hey, why don't you go to Tony and say, I want to run this other company. They come to an agreement. So Tony's going to let Jonathan off the hook and run his own company. And then Jonathan offers Mike a job. And the thing he says to Mike is, what you're doing here is the minor leagues.
Exactly.
I'm offering you a chance to play in the majors.
I'm like, so where does Mike play? Like, are we like, where are we right now?
Wait, so is he in the minor leagues now?
Or is he in the major leagues?
majors?
Yeah.
But I think it's just a way of, the investment banker side. Jonathan said, he tells Lewis this all the time. You guys are the lawyers. You don't even know the half of, what we do. What we do is actually the hard hitting stuff, which I don't really know what they do.
I don't. I just see Lewis with that briefcase and the numbers, and you just believe it. So.
Yeah, exactly. But what do you guys think about Mike wanting to go legit? And is it possible for him to find a way to go legit?
It's kind of like the situation where you start off as a secretary, then you make it to a manager, and then you kind of hit that ceiling, but yet you still get raises. Or you move up, but you don't get that, the VP or the executive VP, and you still get raises. Are you comfortable with just making more money, not having the title, or do you want the title and make more money?
I want it all.
You want
Exactly.
it all,
I'm
right?
like,
And it's just
what's
like,
the actual answer?
Right, because it's like, okay, well, what's more important? You know what I
Yeah.
mean, to whatever your lifestyle is. And so for him, it's about recognition and being recognized for what he's doing, but yet we all know the backstory. So it just depends on what's important to you.
See, and I feel like Mike doesn't just want to be like, totally recognized for being awesome. Like, I think it's more than just like, he just wants to be a part of something. Like, he wants his name to be a part of that. Because, it's a great firm and people look up to them. So if he's not ever on it, he just feels like he didn't contribute to this awesome whatever just happened.
Yeah.
He wants to be proud of his work, and he's working hard, and he's doing great things for this firm. And you don't always have to get credit for every little thing that you do, but every now and then it is nice to be shown that token of appreciation. So,
Right.
Last week with whatever write-up was going to be done about the case, that's a little token of, hey, you don't get much recognition elsewhere, but here, we're going to throw your name in here and, good job, buddy. But
Well,
that
they
can
do
never
it in the
happen for
firm.
him.
They can give him a little pat on the back inside the firm where everybody knows.
The firm
Right.
monthly
I know.
newsletter.
I know, right?
Oh, God. that would be
I mean,
make
it's
me
like,
sad.
but he had,
Like,
that's why it's funny because he had to know this is it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it.
yeah, I don't think he knew, though. I don't
I
think
think
he knew the way.
but the reality hit.
You're right. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like what Donna
Yeah.
told Harvey earlier. She's like, "Oh, Mike didn't tell you about our conversation," and Harvey's like, "No, what conversation?" She's like, "Yeah, he didn't know about this," and Harvey says, "No, he knows," and Jessica says, "Well, I don't think he knew." Because there's a
Like,
difference between
really?
knowing but really letting it absorb and
Yeah.
sink in, and you actually know that
Yeah.
nothing can happen. Because when you're first signing up for something,
You have no
sure,
idea.
You don't have
Yeah.
any idea how big this could
Yeah.
get, how good you're going to become. So, yeah, you sign up thinking, okay, I'm going to go in and be a low-level associate. You never know that you're going to be working on one of the hugest cases of a lifetime.
Exactly.
And, just
Right,
all this stuff
exactly.
that comes into play there. So, I feel bad for Mike, and I've been saying he needed to go legit for a while. I'm still working out in my head
How it's gonna
to
work,
make it
exactly.
happen for
Yeah.
him where he can keep everything, but...
That's
And
a
now
tough
that-
one.
And now we have the job offer, which is kind of
Yeah.
confusing things. So I'm like, maybe he's gonna think I
Because
can.
what I'm confused about with the job offer is to be an investment banker, at this point, is he only lying about his college degree?
Exactly.
Or-
like, because it's like you didn't go to school
or do you-
anywhere.
Yeah, or do you have to be a lawyer to
As
be
well,
as well
to-
for
yeah.
that position too?
Yeah.
And then he would have to let the other guy know
Yeah.
the truth.
Oh gosh, this is not
So
gonna
now-
work.
Right.
This is not gonna work.
It's just
Okay, Mike. It's a lot.
Mike's got some things
He's
to
got
figure out,
yeah.
and his girlfriend's got some
I was
things to
gonna say
figure out
Rachel.
too. Rachel, this whole time, which last week I complained that they hadn't been giving the girls enough
Yes, you did.
of a story. Thank you for bringing back the girls
They
tonight,
heard you.
because Donna was very involved with Lewis's story and being there for him. And then we have Rachel with her own like storyline going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all remember this because I forgot it. Thank God for previously on. When Rachel was falsely accused of leaking information about the firm and fired, when she got rehired, she made Lewis promise to pay for her law school when she decided to go, that the firm would pay for it. Lewis agreed to these terms, and now she's got the bill for her law school bill.
Right.
And so now it's time to have that awkward conversation with Lewis, like, hey, buddy, remember that one time when you fired me and then rehired me and then promised to pay for my law school?
$200,000 worth?
Yeah.
But why is
Cash it
that
in.
awkward? I don't see why it was awkward if that was something that they spoke about and agreed about.
Because it was never spoken about or
Anymore.
Yeah. It was never written down. It was never, I mean, it's just something that I would have forgot about it, to be quite honest. If
I wouldn't have
was
forgot
Lewis.
about
wouldn't have
it. Yeah, I
forgotten
wouldn't have
about it.
forgot about
If I was
it.
Rachel, I wouldn't. If I was Lewis, I might have forgot about it.
Okay.
But Lewis forgets nothing.
That's true.
He does. But so then we find out that Lewis has a heart attack, so she can't talk to Lewis. She has to go to Jessica now, which is intimidating enough, but
Now that's awkward.
yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Well, Jessica says she has no idea what Rachel's talking about.
Embarrassing.
That Lewis never said any of this to Jessica, and if he had, she would have said, hail to the nah, because the firm does not do that. Did you guys think that Jessica was telling the truth there? That she really had no idea that Lewis said these things?
And you know what? I was thinking that. I was like, I wonder if she's just being lawyerish at this moment. Like, I have no recollection.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah,
I really just assumed Lewis just like did not tell her.
I
really
thought
did.
there maybe was a game plan to it. She was being strategic a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lewis told her or not, because Jessica's so amazing that I just can't tell.
Yeah.
But in my notes, I wrote down at the end of that conversation, basically right now, Rachel just got out-lawyered by Jessica, because Jessica came back at her like, you have no proof of this conversation.
Yes.
There's nothing in writing. You don't have a recording. You can't prove any of this.
Yeah.
So get out of my office. You don't have a case. And in my head, I'm thinking, Rachel, why aren't you arguing your points right now? You want to be a lawyer right now.
Right.
like
Prove
prove it
it right
yeah,
now.
definitely.
You know, you just stood up to Jessica and got her to change a provision that, you know, you can come back and work here having not gone to Harvard. Do something right now.
Yeah.
But of course she just leaves. And then she tells Mike, and then Mike just tells her, you know, figure out a way to enforce the contract that you have, because that's something Harvey had just told him. Figure out how to enforce what you just undid. So then we have Lewis back in the office. So she goes to talk to him, and the way she came at Lewis, I didn't think was the best way to come about it.
It was so indirect.
Yeah. It's like, if you have an issue, just say it.
Yeah.
I understand that she didn't want to upset him or get him, you know, riled up because he had just had a heart attack. But going to him and being like, oh, my friend had a verbal agreement with this guy, and, you know, he promised to pay her some stuff. And Lewis basically says, because he doesn't realize he's incarcerating himself, that any payment that's a verbal agreement, a payment that's for more than a year, anything over a year, it doesn't matter, because it's a verbal agreement. You have to have it in writing.
Right.
So he's like, whoever this guy is probably laughed as soon as she walked out the door, because, you know, he pulled one over on her, and he probably did it, said what he said, because he knew he could get away with it and that it wouldn't matter. So this, of course, has Rachel all mad, pissed off.
But like, you wasn't even direct. What are you upset about?
I
That's
was-
why I was pro Donna on this one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, really?
Yeah,
I don't. The weakness, the whole not direct.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a lawyer. Let's talk about the facts here. So that bothered me a little bit.
I just wasn't really impressed with the way Rachel handled it. Like, I
No.
wanted to be, but she came so indirectly, like you said, and she was avoiding a conversation that really wasn't supposed to be that awkward. It's her and Lewis. Like,
Exactly.
they're friends that just have it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's okay. He's in a suit. He's back at work. Just tell him.
In a suit.
You know, suits. Just
like
tell
that.
him that this is what the case is. But she came with the story, and I wasn't feeling it.
And even I thought the way she was going to go with that story was talk about the story and then bring it back after he said all these things. Oh, guess what? I'm talking about you and me.
Exactly.
Because remember that one time when
Right.
you said you were going to pay for my law school. So then.
But of course, she just leaves.
Of course,
Right.
she just leaves, goes and pouts
Pouting.
to
Right,
someone else.
right.
She left Jessica and goes pouts to Mike, leaves Lewis, goes and pouts to Donna.
Donna.
Donna tells her, hey, look, you need to go make your case.
Lawyer
go argue,
up.
go
Yeah.
lawyer up and lit up all those things that you can do. So she does that. And I was very proud of her in this moment. She calls Jessica and Harvey in and
Beautiful.
presents a beautiful case
Yes.
to Jessica about
Yes.
why she should sign off on this new agreement paying for her law school. She basically just wants her advance bonus, or her bonus advanced.
It was a lot of, yeah.
She wants her bonus advanced so that she can cover the cost of school. Plus because Jessica says, Rachel told Jessica, never sign anything without getting something back. So Jessica's something back is that Rachel will continue to work part-time at the firm. And between that and the bonus, it should pay for her schooling.
So why is that such a cool something back for Jessica? I mean, she's already working there.
But she's going to work as a summer
Like a summer lawyer?
associate or something.
I
like
heard that, but it's like Jessica can get anyone.
Yeah,
so
you can get
was
anyone.
really trying to figure out. But I mean,
But I guess what it actually does cover is that she's not going to get paid for it. It's the payment goes to what Jessica is paying her for. So
kind of like an
she's-
internship.
Yeah, so she's giving the hours that
Gotcha.
Jessica's just paying to her tuition instead.
Sounds good.
And then
All
Jessica
right,
brings up another point. Oh, well, we don't pay for people's school.
Dun dun dun.
Exhibit A, Harvey Specter. You paid for him to go because she already set up a precedent by paying for Harvey, so that's why she should pay for Rachel's as well.
Now, how did
she find that out? I was
Because that's not common knowledge, y'all.
yes. I was like, Rach, you did some homework. I was
Yes.
impressed. Yes.
Or she got some things out of her boyfriend.
You think so?
Yeah.
Mike, you think
I'm pretty
so?
sure I took it as Mike had told her some things.
That means Harvey's probably going to attack him later, or
No,
maybe
I
not.
think Harvey was actually, he was just like, yeah,
Right. He's like, you did pay.
She's got you there.
You did
Yeah.
pay. So
Like, she presented a whole case, laid it out, smack dad, boom, here's the contract already typed up.
right.
Sign it.
Sign
and
here,
then
here.
Here, and here. And now everyone's happy because, well, I don't know if Jessica's happy. 'Cause now she has to
I know,
pay for
because she was
another
like,
law school thing.
yeah.
But
Right.
everyone else is very happy about everything. So I liked that they let Rachel, she was so weak twice tonight with this whole lawyer thing that it makes me wonder if she's going to be a good lawyer or not
Yeah.
until she actually gets pushed to someone telling her, go do this
Yeah.
specifically. But I mean, at least she got her happy ending.
Yeah, she's in training.
Yeah, she's in training. So that about wrapped up the episode.
Yes.
Was there anything you guys wanted to talk about?
No.
I think we really hit the main
Hit
points.
the
Yeah.
main points. Well, then let's go into predictions. Oh, I wrote some down.
And now, your AfterBuzz
Predictions.
TV predictions.
Predictions. Anyone have predictions to start us off with?
What are my predictions? What are your predictions?
I guess my prediction is that Harvey and Scotty are going to have some crazy issue next episode. I'm really excited to see we didn't get to see her, so I'm thinking she'll be back and we'll see how Donna fixes that up. My prediction is also that I don't think that Lewis and Sheila are going to last.
No, they
And-
broke up.
They're already broken up.
Did they officially? I
Yeah.
wasn't. Oh my.
She's in the elevator crying.
But I just assumed Donna was gonna go fix that.
No.
She does. Oh my gosh. Well, I have a moment I need to take. But okay. So they're already broken up. Well,
Yeah.
then I hope they.
But
get
then
back
again, you could say, hey, maybe she'd come back and want to have
please,
kids.
please,
Maybe.
because I kind of like them. I mean, they're
I
weird.
love them.
Yeah, they're creative, like you said. So
Very
I just-
creative
I love
couple.
them.
Yes.
But okay. Well,
What do you
gotta-
guys think? Do you think Mike's going to take the job?
Mike
or
is not going anywhere.
He's-
That's my
yeah,
prediction. He's
yeah.
not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He may be tempted and want to, the carrots dangling in front of him, but
Even
he-
with Rachel's
he's not-
crazy, you got to
yeah,
do it.
He's not going because it'll leak.
Yeah.
It'll leak.
know.
Yeah.
I kind of think it would be interesting to see Mike not with his secret, but not with Harvey there to protect him every step of the way.
Yeah.
I think it would be something that would set up for a nice season 4 kind of dynamic, because I mean, there's only 2 more episodes left of the season, so we're clearly building up to some sort of cliffhanger, some big decision somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that the job is fully off the table for Mike yet.
I think that's actually a really good point.
That's
Yeah.
a good point, but I still don't think he's going anywhere.
Well, maybe you better not. You
Make
better
sure
not.
you guys let us know what you think. Make sure you go onto iTunes, YouTube, and comment. You can also find us all over social media and give us your predictions there.
Yeah.
Where can they find you guys on social media?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at OneTakeStace.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Ashida Onrae.
And I'm on both of those things at the Tiona Hobson, and you can find everyone here at AfterBuzz TV all over social network. So we will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in.
Whoop, whoop.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.